So when I was younger, I was almost ashamed of my voice. I always had a deep, raspy voice when all of the girls that were my friends had the nice little light voices. And I'm talking about elementary, middle school, even high school. And I remember once, many times, the phone would ring at my parents' home, and of course I would answer it, and it would be this person on the other end, and I would say, hi, hello, and whatever you say, and the person would be, hi, Mr. Gray. And I was like, darn, Mr. Gray, no, I'm a girl. And you know, I grew up resenting my voice until now, as I moved into a place of really knowing that I had have a very distinctive voice. And I understand that this voice is unique in that it is my signature. And so I've been taught that my voice has a volume, it has value, and I can use this voice as a signature that no one needs to really ask who it is, that they'll know that this is Pam Wilkerson that's speaking, and I'll get their attention with this very deep and commanding voice that I've been gifted with. Pam is someone who has evolved for many years to a place of really getting to know who she is. I think I went through a lot of different challenges in my life. And on the outside, looking very successful, but on the inside, really not quite sure. When I found myself in crowds of people, I was so many people, but then when I was back in my private time, still trying to figure out who I was. But today, I know who I am. And the good news about knowing who you are is that you know who you are, and you will die being that person. It's no longer this person I'm becoming. I believe that as I have emerged, I now live with the person I am, the person who God has made me to be, and that He will use me to be that beacon of hope, that beacon of possibility for those who are dealing with identity crisis, false identity, identity theft. And I'm talking about within their person. I'm not talking about, you know, their credit being stolen. I'm talking about early on in life, something coming to steal who they genuinely, naturally were, who they are in their most germane sense of the word. Emerge is a declaration. It came out of a time I was in a deep sleep. And I literally heard in my sleep, I heard the Spirit say, emerge. And so it was not only a directive for me, but it's now my declaration to others. Emerge, emerge. And so now it's Emerge Global Enterprises that I go into the 7 continents. I go worldwide telling women who find themselves in crises, women who are trying to navigate through life and career and just the issues of life, to say emerge. Come out of that place. Come out of that place of fearing failure, fearing success, even fearing fear. Come into a place of, out of obscurity, into a place of importance, prominence, and appearance. Really letting people know who you are and who you have been meant to be, even from the very, very beginning of time, who God has made you in terms of your original intent. Let's emerge. I specifically help women, those who are trying to find their identity, those who are overachievers, much like myself, but under-executors, those whose success continues to elude them, or maybe they have to some degree reached a modicum of success, but truly are not happy, truly have not found real purpose. And so I help to provide them with a map. I go back and kind of, if you will, create a rescue mission. Why? Because I'm able to, kind of like the Harriet Tubman of my age, to go back in and to bring people out into their real freedom, to who they are, to a place of being okay with who they genuinely are, to say, now I have emerged. I have emerged to this place of purpose that God intended for me. Before the rape, before the molestation, before the divorce, before the loss, before all of the things that came to utterly destroy them. And I'm saying that despite that, or in spite of it, you can use that as the stepping stone to get you to this place of emerging. So I was born and raised in Calvary County. Went through the Calvary County public school system. Always was a leader. Always knew that there was a leader in me. Was president of my class all 4 years of high school, editor of the yearbook, editor of the newspaper at Northern High School in Calvary County. Went on to college. Kind of forgot who I was in college. Didn't know because of so many things, trying to be so many people. You know, was that sorority girl and was that overachiever, but also very distracted by life and trying to find out who I was. And I eventually got my degree in business management with an emphasis in organizational development, and always had an ability to speak, and realized that I also had developed a really specific sphere of influence. I knew that people would listen to me. Maybe it went back to my voice. And so knowing that, I always found myself in leadership roles. Leadership at DuPont in their executive leadership program, and leadership at the Boys and Girls Club. So much so, I became the Boys and Girls Club president and CEO in Southern Maryland. Took an organization that was floundering in about $700,000 annual budget to about $2.5 million in about 5.5 years. Just really touched the lives as a youth development professional of thousands and thousands of kids, giving them hope and opportunity by things that really was downloaded to me. And I was able to use that as a platform to go to Congress, to go to the state legislation, and really advocate for children. And so with that, I had also gone through a marriage that was awesome in the beginning, but because I didn't know who I was during that marriage, found myself compromising, and later being a single mom, just because of some of the choices that my husband had made, but ultimately the decisions that I had made. And so here I am, a mother of two, that had been an executive in DuPont and other companies, now back home and quite frankly on welfare. But here's the thing, I had three things. I had Jesus. I had my education, and most importantly, I had a will to live, because I didn't always have a will to live. There was a time in my life, right before I moved back to Maryland, where my husband had been incarcerated, at that point about 3 months, that would later end up being 12.5 years, that I thought I had come to the end of my road. And I sat in the middle of my California king-size bed, and I said, you know what, life is over for me. And so I had my 38 in my mouth, so to speak, and something happened. It had never happened before, and quite frankly, it never happened again. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had made this decision without consulting my children that were only feet down the hall from where I was sitting in my bed. And I had decided that this was the end of the road for me, that I couldn't do it any longer. And what happened at that moment was nothing short of a miracle. 4 o'clock in the morning, just as I had decided to eulogize my life, that this Saturday night, this gun, this .38 caliber pistol, was going to decide the fate of my life. I will never forget it. I heard a knock at my bedroom door, and it snapped me back into reality. And I was like, who is this? It was only me and my 2 children, because as I stated, my husband had been in prison for a while at this point. And it was both of my little kids knocking at the door saying, Mom, wake up, we're hungry. What are we having for breakfast? We want cereal. And you know, quite frankly, that was the divine intervention that started this whole emerging process. I have not thought about suicide, quite frankly, before then, and not thought about it since that very moment. My children were sent as the instruments to save my life. And so if I can be that instrument for women, those overachievers, under-executors, those who look like they have it all together on the outside, but quite frankly on the inside, every day is another day that they feel like they're closer to death, just dying, then that's what I'm here for. I gotta believe that I have not come through this earth just to say I've come through it. I believe that I have to instinctively leave my mark on the world. And this is my give back. This is my imprint that I want to leave, that I want to start a charge, Team Emerge, that anyone that comes through and hear my voice, that very distinctive voice, the voice that I for so many years was ashamed of, that if I can use my voice and my volume and my values to change the lives of so many other women, to say emerge, then that's why I've been placed here. That's my purpose.